of the Hammer, a podcast about Warhammer by Games Workshop.
Hammerheads, this is Michael. We are back, episode 36. Clipping them out. Glad to be back. I'm back in town. It is really nice to be back in town. I have traveled way too much the past 3 weeks. But anyway, so we are here to talk about the newest elves. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. But in the meantime, let's get our other host. Let's do it in reverse order this time. We'll start with...
My name would be Tila. Hello.
Okay, you gotta talk like that the entire episode.
Yeah, all right.
Now.
Just keep that going. Good luck. Good luck not infecting everybody. Seth, still here.
Yeah, we will all be talking.
No, I know, right?
And as always, Wes is here.
All right, so I guess we'll start off. We will thank our sponsors. We're, of course, brought to you by the South Georgia War Games Association. The SGWAs, where the best miniature players in South Georgia get their game on. And also Broken Brush Gaming. And Wes, you know to take it away there.
Broken Brush Gaming is a local commission paint service located here in South Georgia. If you are looking for or looking to get an army painted or looking for advice on painting your own army, hit me up at brokenbrushgaming@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter at broken_brush, and I will answer your questions.
Excellent.
Yeah, so Wes, I recently just came into some Idoneth Deepkin, and I need some advice on what to do with them.
Put them together.
Yeah.
That would be step one.
Oh.
I don't know what step two is. Step three is profit, though.
Okay, so, hobby. I'm going to start with you again because we know you've been doing some painting. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I have not. So we'll start hobby with you.
Sure. Let's see here. Hobby-wise, still working on the Daughters of Cain. Got a third unit of Witch Elves in the works. Finished up the Hags and the Medusas over the last week. They were mostly done. I just went and added in the Blood for the Blood God. So they're extremely, well, not extremely bloody, but just the parts that are supposed to be. Like the cups on the Hag Queens are overflowing with blood.
So good, too.
And then the Medusas are actually kind of covered in blood. They got blood dripping all over them. So I went and finished all that up with Blood for the Blood God, so it looks nice and wet and bloody.
Have you posted pictures of those?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I did. On Twitter, I believe. Let's see, what else?
I need to get those off your Twitter and post them on our Facebook page. But I'll look into doing that.
Let's see, what else? Started assembling the Blood Rack Shrine. I think that's the cauldron that has the snake on it instead.
Yeah, with the mirror.
Yeah. Gonna do that one in parts instead of trying to put it all together and paint it like I did the last one, because that was dumb. So it's in parts, ready to be pinned up, and once I finish this next unit of Witch Elves, I'll be on to working on that.
Are you doing a Marathi for them?
I'm not.
No Marathi. Okay.
Not yet.
Because I'd read online not to paint it in parts and then try to finish putting it together.
Well, you have to. You want to paint it in parts. Just make sure you do the right parts.
You do the tail around the.
Yeah, the column needs to be
Yeah.
assembled inside the tail before you start painting. Apparently.
So many rules.
I know, right? Well, that's just so you can get it together.
Yeah, because otherwise you can't get the column.
Yeah, you're
in
just
the tail.
stuck.
Important point.
I was looking at that one.
Let's see, what else did I do? Did a gift for Mike for his birthday.
Which was awesome.
His little gnome wizard named Landry for D&D. He looks like Joseph in the Coat of Many Colors. He's got a blue cloak that's striped red and purple, and he has a beret that's a strawberry.
It's a strawberry.
Did you bring the finished product?
Very nice.
Yeah, it's here.
Yeah, it's over here. I'll show it to you.
I'll find it once I stop talking. But yeah, his beret is a strawberry. That was, I think, a joke on Mike's part, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it.
No, I was like, no, dude, seriously.
Why not?
Because Landry would wear one.
Yeah. And then I don't think since last time I haven't gotten any games in. But
Really, with all the games we've all played, you didn't get one in?
I don't think
No, he abandoned us the 2 times.
I know he was working on Landry.
Yeah, I was painting while y'all played TNT.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I got a game. But I did start finally.
We need to rectify that,
I know, right?
sir.
I did start, however, speaking of books, I did start the third book of the Powder Mage trilogy, finally,
Very nice.
called Autumn Empire, I think, or something like that. And it's pretty good. So if you're into reading books and you like magic and guns, read the Powder Mage trilogy. It's amazing.
But don't eat gunpowder. It's really not a good
No,
thing to do.
you are not a powder mage, I promise. But yeah, really good book series.
Is that's just the one where they use black powder, right? What's the one where they eat the crystals and like different kinds of crystals?
Oh, the metals?
Yeah.
That's Mistborn. That's
Oh,
Sanderson.
yeah.
Also, excellent book series.
Also, don't eat rocks.
Yeah, don't eat metal either. It'll kill you. But yeah, once again, great book series. And then did not see Infinity War yet.
You still haven't seen
Still haven't.
Oh, yeah,
We
were
need to
supposed go see
rectify that
and
as
then we
well.
didn't.
Yeah, I had planned on going to see it Sunday afternoon before Numenera, but my brother was out of town and he wanted to go see it with me. So still waiting off on that. Have threatened to many people to keep their mouths shut at work because everyone wants to go on and on about it.
Yeah, no
You
kidding.
remember the part where
I know, right?
Exactly.
Let's spoil it for the whole podcast
For the
and Wes at the
entire
same
podcast.
time.
Yeah, I know,
Podcasts.
right? We might lose a bunch of listeners if we did that. But
I would not.
Spoiler alert, I think Thanos is in this one.
oh wow, yeah.
I heard something about that.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Shows. I don't have cable, so I don't watch regular TV. But I'm almost caught up on Dice Camera Action. I've got like 3 more episodes, and then I'm caught up to Real Time.
That's good because I am far from caught up on
I
that.
just put it on while I paint and listen. But yeah, that's pretty much did some personal work or my own personal stuff as well. Started working on my Hemlock Wraith Fighter for my Eldar army, and yeah, lots of masking and airbrushing, but it looks pretty cool. It's like it's the same color as Landry's coat on the top, and the bottom is like bone white.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it looks neat. But it's going to be a pain to clean up and make it look nice. But
Well, I just meant cool that it looks like Landry's coat on top.
Right.
I know
Well,
the
not-
rest of it doesn't matter.
not the stripes, just that really nice turquoise.
Cool, but Landry's cool.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's been my hobby. I didn't do a ton of painting this week, just because last week of school work was pretty hectic. But
Yep.
You know, I'm going to make him start going last just so I don't feel so bad when I say I haven't done anything.
well, hey, you know what?
after
You got
that.
models now, so you can rectify that.
I could. The possibility is there. However,
Well, but the thing is, you didn't not do anything.
I did play some games.
You got some games in.
I did. I'm waiting on the Wes Masterclass from Broken Brush Gaming.
Well, you've seen my paint racks. You can just come sit down at the table and use my paint racks whenever you want to.
Does that offer apply to everyone? Because
He still hasn't regretted telling me where he lives.
That's true. You haven't randomly shown up at my house at 3 a.m. But yeah. I mean, you guys are welcome. You guys are welcome to come paint at my house.
I would
whenever
offer
you want to.
mine, but mine pales in comparison to his. So,
Yeah,
there's
he's
that.
got a much better rack than you do.
He does.
I imagine the scene from Beauty and the Beast with the books, but like with paint and brushes and stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yes. Yes.
Just walk in, look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? But your collection is not complete.
Oh, nowhere near.
Not
because
even.
I don't have iron rack skin.
I got it for you. I'll bring it.
So what you got going on, Seth?
I don't know. I'm going to apologize to the listeners because I'm drinking coffee and espresso. So by the end of this, I'm just going to be
Pinging?
pinging 90 to nothing. But I've played a few games, mostly trying to get the Path to Glory list kind of ironed out of where I want to start because there's so many possibilities. And that is awesome. That is definitely a strawberry. He looks like he wants to sell me cookies.
Wes just handed Seth Landry
The
to look
Landry.
at.
That is really cool.
My ADD kicked in.
You have to post a picture of that.
Let's see.
I'll pop one of those up on the Facebook page too.
So I think I've done 2 so far. The first time we did a Triumph and Treachery, which was kind of horrible. I mean,
yeah.
man.
We need to talk about whether or not to use the Triumph and Treachery rules for multiplayer or just the multiplayer rules. I think the multiplayer rules will work better with Path to Glory. That's just my opinion.
It was interesting to say the least. But
I mean, I'm not like needs to be this way or but
yeah.
I think they might work a little bit cleaner with Path to Glory.
But given the new Path to Glory for the Idoneth Deepkin, I ended up going with an Achillean King and a Leviathan, and that was it. That was my 2 models, and they did some work. They
Lasted longer than me.
Lasted longer, aside from the fact that there was a Manticore shooting everyone on the field for 6 mortal wounds. Period. But that's Randy's dice.
Yeah, that's true.
He was playing a Manticore, and
He will spike some dice.
automatically hit, automatically rolls max wounds because it's Randy, and then he's just killing everything left and right. But otherwise, it was a lot of fun. I think the second game that I played was against Randy again. We did what was that?
Because you just like losing.
I just like losing. What was it? What was that?
Don't feel bad if you lose to Randy.
There were 4 altars, battle plan, something like that.
Yeah, it was Altars of the Gods or something like that.
Yeah.
It was, where you were trying to capture the altars.
And I played. This time I went with the Soul Scryer, who he can start the battlefield in the Aether Sea, and he lets 2 units join with him. So I took the Soul Scryer and 2 units of the Ishlean Guard, and they started off the board. And they can come in anywhere on a 6 inch from the board edge, 9 inches away from enemy. And that was hilarious because he just come in on their side of the field and charge turn 1. Now, it doesn't fit with the waves and the ebb and flow, but it was fun. I still lost, though. Still working on that.
You'll get it.
Yeah, but that's all I've done.
Tila?
I actually got... Well, I felt 2 games. I was told I won a 3rd one based on what my army can do, not what I knew about them at all. So Mike can explain that one because I'm still kind of lost. But
Totally my mistake. You know how I tell people play to the scenario? I totally didn't think about the scenario turn 1, but I'll get to that. Go ahead, Tila.
yeah. But aside from my 3 games, I have no more nerdy D&D pictures this week. I did a commission painting for my dad, which is like a Game of Thrones thing. So other than that, I've done nothing.
Well, that's cool, though.
Yeah.
Are you still have where
Not
you can take a
done
picture
with
of
it
it?
yet.
Okay.
He wants Khaleesi like on a throne with the 3 dragons because who doesn't want that?
Right?
I'm working on it.
Okay, I just want a picture of it when you finish, because that'll be cool.
So tell us how you beat Mike, one of the most
Mike,
experienced
how did I
minigamers
beat
we
you?
have around here.
By the way, Randy is Mike's son, and they're both like military intelligence over here.
Far from it. Well, Tila doesn't give herself enough credit. She was asking how some rules worked together when combined. And so I was kind of explaining, how the unit works, how this buff on the unit works, except for maybe 1 or 2 areas where I gave her some advice on, look, I guess the example was her first turn. What's the name of the
Calibron?
Yeah. So
And the shadow step thing that they have?
yeah. So they've got the shadow step thing, and she could teleport a model to claim one of the altars, or a unit to claim one of the altars. So she's going to send her witch elves. But I told her, I said, you know what? You're better off send the hag, because it's any unit that's within so many inches of the hero. You're within that many inches of yourself. So the hag teleports herself to one of the altars to claim it, like across the table. I'm nowhere near her, but she's way over there. And I explained to her the reason why is because the witch elves having the hornblower, they've got a hornblower, can run and still charge. The hag can't. So I had some of my units that were outside of just move and charge, but a good run would put them in about a 50-50 charge range. She got a pretty good run, and she made the charge in and pretty much decimated me. But aside from that advice on a tactic, most of the other stuff, she's like, well, you really did it, because I was asking all these questions. I said, the only questions you're asking me was, how does this stack? How many attacks do I get? How does this work? And so I was showing her how to add up, where to find where saves were, and that type of stuff. But the other stuff was really all her. She totally won that game.
Oh,
Yeah.
the best win, though, was when she won
Without even moving.
Turn 1.
any of the
Turn 1.
models.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because of the scenario.
So here's the deal, okay?
And it was great because
Turns out
we
you
were
can just sit
playing.
in your chair and not do anything.
We were playing. What is this? Like an 8x8 table. So we had 2 4x4
Yeah, we split
sections.
into 2 4x4 because we were doing our Path to Glory start list, so they were all small armies.
So me and Randy are on one side playing the same scenario that
Yep.
Mike and Teeler are on the other side. And without thinking about it, me and Mike had talked about, can you start with no models on the field? He goes, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that too, just to see what happens. Then I think we rolled the scenario, and it had to be claim 3 on your turn, and you win.
At the end of your turn, if you're controlling 3 out of 4 of the altars, you win a major victory.
Just period.
There's not a round number on it. If at the end of any of your turns, you are controlling 3 of the altars, you win a major victory.
Nice.
So I'm over here.
I failed to pay attention to the fact there wasn't a round number on that.
I'm lucky I did, because Randy was playing Seraphon, and he had a unit of chameleon skinks. They can come in anywhere they want to come in.
Yep.
And so I'm off the board, and I'm like, oh, I really want Randy to have the first turn so that he can move up, and I'll have a back charge on him, and then, that'll be great. And I'm thinking about it going, wait, he can just claim all of the objectives on turn 1. I said, Randy, when can you win this game? And they read it.
Yeah, and that was when I said, wait a minute, what? Because I had already passed turn. Because I got to choose who went first. I already said, you can go first. So I told Tila, well, okay. Teleport a unit over here.
And you win.
Run a unit toward that one so you can get close enough to it. Roll that run and roll. Yep, you win. Congratulations. Like, I am an idiot.
Easiest win ever.
More things that never happen to Mike when he plays against me.
I was just like, wow, I really just did that. But I'd actually switched up. I was doing Carriage and Overlords. And I was doing Zelfin. So I was wanting to bring the ship in with all the guys and unload it.
So did you do your Path to Glory list on that as just an Ironclad and the Admiral?
No.
okay.
No. I did a frigate. And I had a unit of Arcanaut Company and an Admiral. And I was able to squeeze in an Aether Chemist with it. Cool. What?
You sure about that?
I think. But it didn't matter. I got beat.
Yeah,
both
but anyway.
times, so.
No, because when you take either the frigate or the Ironclad, it counts as one of the units that your Admiral gets. So when it says
I did that wrong, but it didn't matter because I got stomped both games.
Yeah, because when it says 2, that frigate counts as 1, and then you can get another unit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, so if you take the Ironclad, you literally get the Ironclad and the Admiral, and that is your starting list.
That's that little asterisk area.
Yeah.
So
you were missing
I
a
misread
unit?
that. No, I
he
had
had
an
an
extra
extra
unit.
Oh,
I was cheating.
well, that makes me feel better. So
Shame.
I was cheating and still got beat.
someone else cheated this week too.
I
Can we
don't
talk
know
about that
what
for a
you're
minute?
talking about. Listen,
Yeah.
it is perfectly plausible.
Makes me feel much better that I got stomped in both games.
Seth gets the Cheetosaurus Rex award for
Yeah.
the week.
It is perfectly acceptable for someone to have a polearm, a greatsword, a falchion, and a shield all in 2 hands. Okay,
Right, yeah.
yeah, it makes sense.
No, that's fine.
I'm not going to say it. I could throw shade, but I'm not going to.
But no, honestly,
We don't need to throw shade on the podcast.
that is how I caught my mistake, is because I was cinematically picturing it. And I'm like, wait a
After
minute.
he tore up his wife's army.
No, this was
After,
the
then he
next
caught it.
day when I was reveling in my glory,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wait, I have this, and then I realized he had a shield. I thought he just had like a good save, and then I read the falchion. It means you put up your shield and pull out the falchion. I'm like, well, where's the other one at? Oh wait, he doesn't get that
You
one.
got to pick.
You get to pick. Yeah.
It's that little blurb or.
What's that? Read your war scrolls. I think that is.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard those
read
words.
my Path to Glory rules. I'm going to claim in my defense it's not the army I'm running in Path to Glory, and I just kind of grabbed it at the last minute just to run something different since we're playing just for fun. And I kind of threw it together, and I didn't really read it all.
That's fine. Hey, my book just came in. All right.
But, oh wells. You need to talk about the Triumph and Treachery, though.
That was the one that we were just talking about?
that was the shenanigans. Game.
Oh, yeah.
was the
So
four-way.
I accidentally made Mike lose our game.
She killed me.
It was pretty
Okay,
funny.
It was
but
great.
It was
when-
hilarious.
When you have a new player that knows nothing about these games, that is not the game to throw at me because I already don't understand anything and there's too much blonde hair in my red. So basically, they were what from my point of view, like it was just you guys pointing at each other and being like, I'm gonna fight you, and then someone would be like, no, you're not, and then you'd point at someone else and be like, I'm gonna fight you. So basically what happened was, in my brain, I was so confused, and then they were like, pick your priority, which to me was like, oh, so I just point and say someone.
In defense, we kind of hodgepodged the multiplayer rules.
There was a
with
lot
the
of
triumph,
hodgepodge going
with the
on.
triumph
Yeah.
and treachery. So neutral players, if they were engaged in combat, whoever's turn it was, got to pick which person attacked next, because we kind of blended.
Mixed with
Which
the fact
we
that
really shouldn't have done with Tila, because Triumph and
No.
Treachery is confusing enough for me,
'cause that's-
much less a new player.
That's what happens when you haven't played Triumph and Treachery in a year and you try and play it and like.
and you're like,
yeah,
we'll
we were
do it
just
this way.
we were
Yeah.
spending
So I
points,
thought-
not rolling.
Yes.
Right.
So
It
we
was
house ruled the mess out of it, but we played the whole game that way. So it was cool.
But I thought I was picking an enemy, and instead I pointed and accidentally gave Randy priority, which means Randy stomped Mike's army, and then Randy proceeded to tear up me and Seth. So
Yeah. So I had my one remaining hero, and I was Fire Slayers. Had my one remaining hero. I had two. I had my Magma Droth and my Rune Sun in on the Chimera. I was just trying to get some wounds on that sucker because it was beating the mess out of all of us.
Oh yeah.
And he killed my Magma Droth, and I didn't get any wounds through. And then it came around, and Tila was picking which one of us got to attack first. She picks Randy, and he just goes, Rune Sun, nom nom nom. And then my other guys are like, okay, no buff for them. They just die. I'll just pick them up.
well, if you think about it, it was a really good strategy for me.
Oh, yeah, it
because-
was. Yeah. I mean it's,
Unintentional.
it actually wasn't necessarily even a bad call, because you eliminated a player. And you eliminated a player that actually had more victory points than you did.
Yeah. Yeah. It was,
So it wasn't
totally
it wasn't
intentional.
necessarily a bad
Yeah,
call.
but let's not mention
was
Randy's
hilarious.
14 victory points by that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tactically just annihilated that game.
He did. And I mean, trying not to sound like a father bragging, Randy knows his tactics
He's a good player.
with these tabletop games, and he knows how to think it out and try to put himself in a position.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know there were victory points that you could get until we started handing them out. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah, and,
that's a thing in this
And
game.
then you add to that he can seriously spike some die rolls.
And apparently whisper to your dice to help me out too.
he
It's
is
hilarious.
he is the dice whisperer.
Yeah, I needed a 2 to get a wound on Tila to just try to get to a draw in our game. And I'm rolling for the wound roll, and Randy says, roll a 1 die. And I roll 1. I look at him and go, shut up.
Oh, I wonder where he
Very
got.
next one, he does it again. And
I wonder where he got that amazing talent from, Mike.
Yeah, right.
Eyesight episode 35 of Age of the Hammer podcast.
Hope you don't roll snake eyes. Snake
Eyes. So that pretty much covers most of those games. Do you have anything else? Movies, books?
I had no time for anything else. Nope. Nothing this week.
All right. So I'll kick mine off. I did get to go see Infinity War. I went with Randy and his fiance. They were kind enough to invite me to go with them. So
I feel like he's throwing
good movie.
shade at
That's
us
all I'm gonna
'cause
say
we
about
went
it.
and didn't invite him.
And then I haven't done any models or painting the past couple of weeks. One whole week I was out of town, so that takes care of that. And now I got a wedding coming up, so there won't be much of that going on this week.
I really think next time you go out of town, just take your army
Take
with
it
you
with me.
and tell everybody where you're going so you can meet up with them.
Yeah,
And throw some dice.
there you go. Well, I'll just take y'all with me when I go on a business trip.
work. Paid for hotel.
Yeah. But so I did get another game in besides the ones that we talked about. Randy and I actually played this afternoon. Played a 2,000 point game. He was proxying models for Idoneth because he was wanting to try out a build. And I was running a 2,000 point build of Fire Slayers with 400 points of Cardin Overlords as allies.
Dang dwarfs.
And I'm not scared of the Idoneth anymore.
Nice.
Because I was playing Fire Slayers. I ignored I don't know how many wounds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that army can do that. Round 1, I let him go first because I finished deploying first. and he kind of moved up a little bit. He didn't want to overcommit because he didn't want me to get the charge because he needed to with his cav for their buffs. And then I activated the runes in my dwarves and moved them up. They got extra 4 inches on movement, so I captured the objectives. Basically, that was what I did. I just moved up and captured the objectives on one with a magma droth. And then on the other, I brought in my rune smiter with a unit of 30 Volkites in front of him. And so he was capturing it. The Volkites were there to prevent Randy from getting to him. And the Volkites tried to charge, but failed. I think all my charges failed that turn. So Randy's like, okay, good. I can get the charges off and I can do some damage. We roll for priority. I get priority.
Oh, no.
So I move up and I'm just hammer his line at that point and do a lot of damage. He did a pretty good bit of damage back, but it wasn't totally reciprocated. He did at the bottom of that turn, he used the retreat rules. Of course, since he has fly, he flew over my units.
Yeah.
And basically positioned himself to be able to basically charge and kill most, if not all, of my heroes. I won priority. I totally countered that move and killed most of his units that were out in the middle then that were set up to kill my heroes.
Nice.
And then round 3, he was pretty heavily on the defense. Of course, that's when he got to attack with everything, and that's when he did the most damage to my guys. But by that point, he was down to maybe 8 models left.
Oh, wow.
And
so what all did he run? The cav and...
He ran the cav, the turtle, I don't know what because he was proxying, so I don't know, some of the shark beastie things or something.
Oh, yeah,
yeah. I forget what it was that he said they were.
I mean, if you just pick a sea creature, it probably is something.
It's probably something, yeah.
Sharks, eels, turtles.
And he had a couple of the casters.
Okay, yeah.
And until the last round that we actually played out, because by the time we finished round 3, I had scored 12 points. 12 victory points, and even if he could have captured at that point, there weren't enough, because it was one of those that when your hero holds it at the end of your turn, you score a victory point for each round that hero has held it.
Oh, wow.
I got my first 2 heroes up on it, they held it the entire game.
The whole time.
So by the end of round 3, it was 3 points, so that was 6. And I scored 6 from the previous 2 rounds, so I was up to 12. Even if he claimed it on round 4, the best he was going to be able to do was score 6 points.
Yeah.
So, and he was like, mathematically, it's impossible. So that was when we called it. But it was nice to actually win a game against my son.
Yeah, right.
Because Randy and I have played about 4 games, I guess, since he's been back. And he had 1 minor victory, 2 major victories, and I got 1 major victory. So, I mean, he's pretty much been stomping my butt this week.
So. He does that.
No. I'm glad to see that Randy loses with the Idoneth. That really makes me feel good. I stand no chance.
I think that he needs... I don't think you can focus just on the cav.
No.
Because if you don't get the charges, you're crippled with them. Because they're nowhere near as good. He did get a charge with some of them, and it was pretty brutal.
Yeah, they are nasty on the charge. And their once-a-game explosive thing is pretty gross too.
Yeah, you want to lock people up with Namarti and then
precisely, and then hit them while they're locked up and they can't charge you.
Yeah, they only have 1 attack that's not 2-inch range. So
but they are nasty though. I mean, they've got good gosh, the number of attacks everything has. Yeah. I mean, it's just
even when you're not cheating, they still have a lot of attacks.
Yeah, I mean, he was like rolling. I was like, how many more attacks do you have? Tell me. He's like, I can trade the war scrolls. I believe you. I'm just like, oh my gosh. But I lost probably about half of my army in models, but the only unit he was actually able to eliminate was my Rune Sun on Magmadroth. And that's because I charged it into 2 units. I was trying to get some damage on the turtle, which I got some, but he ended up killing it because it was in against 2 units.
Yeah.
But I was kind of sacrificing it just to try to chip away at that turtle some because I'd seen what it could do.
Turtle's nasty.
Yeah.
Not for my army.
But that's all I got as far as hobby. It pretty much sums it up. Lots of games, but not a lot of actually putting stuff together. I did move my Fire Slayers up to my painting room since I'm going to be running them in Path to Glory.
Very nice.
So I can finish working on getting some of those guys painted up. I'm going to set the Volkites aside because I'm not going to play them in Path to Glory. Because they're just not going to be any good in Path to Glory. So...
Should we jump off into the fluffy fluffness?
let's jump into the deep.
Go ahead and start us off, Wes.
It's your army, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but I
We're
don't have an
leaning on
outline
you
today.
tonight.
I just don't remember things. I've read this book
Yeah,
a few times. I just don't
I've read-
remember it.
I've read
it's
most
like
of
the
it.
Idoneth
It is-
Deepkin came into my room and the Aether Sea left and took my memory.
Yeah, you just don't remember.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
we're
I
about
think
to be registering.
I think it's, the just for starters, talking about the book in general, like it's really cool to have all new lore, for an entirely new faction
Yeah.
that is really quite different from anything that's come out before.
Yeah.
Very
yeah.
true.
Well, and and that's the thing that I was tempted. I by no means needed to start another army, but I was tempted because of the fact it's completely new.
Yeah.
Other than the connection to the storyline with Slanesh having devoured the elf souls,
Right.
everything about it is new lore, and that's we've talked about it. I mean, we love the narrative, love the fluff, the lore, and all of that stuff.
It's just so juicy.
Yeah, in more ways than one.
True.
Well, let's start off with the book itself.
Sure.
The cover's amazing.
Oh, the art.
And that's the other thing, because it's completely new and it's new lore. All the art's new. You don't have any recycled stuff.
Well, I mean, and the cover art is not even the coolest art. In
No,
the book.
no.
Yeah, that one with the giant Skaven bodies.
Yeah.
But no, my favorite, and I think I sent it to you guys as soon as I got the book, was the hand-drawn looking one.
Yes, that's planning on a back tattoo. For
Yeah,
this
I told her, I said, I know what I want for a back tattoo, because that one just...
Oh, the
sick.
the disgusting looking koi thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah,
giant
yeah.
eel.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Plus their symbol is neat. Just overall, the aesthetics of the book is fantastic.
So let's talk Deepkin themselves.
So the first thing that really kind of struck me was how much they went into background of how, of how the Deepkin came about. Mm-hmm. We kind of knew already just from little snippets here and there about, basically the first souls that were pulled out of Slanesh, Teclis took and said, "Hey, I'm going to use these as mine." Well, a cool bit that happens right at the beginning of the book is it just so happens that the last souls that went into Slanesh were all these elves that worshipped Mathlon in the world
Right.
that was. Right. So the first ones that got yanked
Last
out.
in, first out.
Yeah.
That
the
was
ones
so
that,
great.
It was so cool that, the ones that Teclis started working on, and for whatever reason, probably because they, languished in Slanesh for thousands of years, they were messed up, and Teclis realized that, and he was just going to kill them.
Well, yeah, he was shining his light on them.
That's the other thing was, initially he was like, "Oh, I can fix this. I can figure out what's wrong with them," and so he goes to shine the light on them, and it's like they can't stand it.
Yeah.
And some of them even go mad.
Yeah. Those that can't handle it just go insane. Yeah. The rest of them are freaked out because he's still shining the light while everyone else is realizing what they went through.
Right.
And is going insane. So they're like, Teclis, stop.
Yeah, but basically Tyrion was like, "Yo, Teclis, like, let's, have some mercy on these poor things."
Yeah.
And
you created them. You can't kill them.
And in that bit of reprieve, they all just noped out of there and said, we're going to go back to where we came from.
That's what I liked. And it makes sense that they worship still Mathlan so much just because he's the one that hid them under the ocean while literally everyone else was dead. And Slanesh is like, "No, I eventually will find you," despite him trying to protect them. But he failed, died.
Yeah, because eventually when the world that was broke apart, even the deep places of the ocean were no longer hidden.
And as soon as they nope out, that is the first place that they go back.
Yeah, I mean, they just head straight down.
Here's the thing that I liked was it talks about this, this dark spot, this whatever it is that's wrong with them.
Yeah.
And he's trying to shine his light to figure it out and everything. But it never really explains what it is.
Yeah.
I think it's Slanesh taint, is what I think.
Could be.
Phrasing.
Should say which one. In that
because
case.
think about it. Where do they go? They go into the deep ocean.
Sure.
There's no light. Buoyancy, so you're floating there. Sensory deprivation.
Oh, they explain that in the book. I mean,
Yeah,
they
they
go
actually
into it.
talks about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the reasons that it seems that they preferred this was because you can't see anything, you can't feel because your hands are numb because the waters are so cold. And there's actually a cool part in the book where it talks about how occasionally even the different enclaves will kind of bicker and argue amongst each other, and then they'll just like go away from each other, and for hundreds of years they'll go into isolation where they basically just hibernate.
Yeah.
And it's this sense of, when the elves tried to resist Slanesh originally in the world that was a thing. It was all about meditation, empty mind kind of thing, so that you didn't give into the depravities of Slanesh and your heightened senses. And so the ocean is like where this deep ocean is their way of canceling out whatever that is, so they don't have any sensory input. It's pretty neat.
Well, and when they have the conclave, the fact that they take these like circuitous routes to get none of the others know where they actually came from. I mean, they're like isolationists even from themselves.
Yeah.
They don't trust anybody.
Yeah, each enclave is unto itself, which is, I think, really neat.
Hardcore trust issues.
Yeah, definitely. But you think about what Teclis put them through. Who can blame them?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I think the only ones that don't are the Iron Rock.
Yeah, the Iron Rock they're all about...
They're the ones that have learned, I guess.
Emissary.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we might need some friends with what's happening here. So I guess we should probably talk about the caste system in the Idoneth, like what the Idoneth actually consists of, as far as who's in charge and
well, I guess before I was going to say, I guess before you get there, you need to talk about why they need souls and how they came about claiming the souls.
Right.
Because, of course, like what was it, 1%?
Yeah,
we're born
one
with
out of every 100.
Yeah, 1 out of every 100 has a good soul, and those born without a good soul or with a damaged soul
pretty much just die.
Basically, just waste away and die.
Yeah.
So, as a result of we are going to go extinct, they start kind of experimenting. How can we?
Yeah, they took the magic that Teclis gave them, and I wouldn't say warped it, but
experimented with it and figured out how
needs.
to claim souls from other beings and put them in their children.
Yeah,
I mean, keep their children alive.
Basically, they started out just trying to take the souls of beasts and creatures, and it turned out that didn't really work so well.
Yeah, would only last like a few days or something like that.
And it would just burn out.
Yeah,
and then so they started, they start going out and basically just going to the surface and reaping.
Souls from humans and humanoids and such like that, and which is interesting because it says that 6 souls basically allows them to live a third of an elf's expected lifespan. So that's like 18 souls that they have to claim to live a full life.
Yeah,
but
nowhere.
Slanesh's number is 6.
Yeah. It's true.
Just pointing that out.
That's true.
Chaos elves. No, we're not going there.
That would be just nothing but elves being released for the next 2 years.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I think that it is related to and I think that's why they made that 6, is that it's related to the fact that they were in Slanesh's belly.
Yeah, I mean, I think
there's a component of that aspect that's causing these.
Even though they
issues
never
for
say
them.
exactly what is wrong with them, it's I mean, it seems pretty obvious that it is.
Right.
There is some Slanesh shenanigans going on with these souls that have definitely influenced them.
Yep.
But yeah, so the caste system basically, so 99% of Deepkin, since they ran away from Teclis, The original ones that ran away from Teklos were called the Sethai, or the Awakened, and when they started populating, 99% of their children were half-souled, destined to die, whatever.
Yeah.
But then the 1% that had full souls became the ruling classes, and over the centuries and millennia, they have developed this system where you have two classes of nobility that are made out of this 1%, and then one class of
Essentially
basically slaves, drudges, whatever you want to
Right.
call them. So much so that they don't have eyes. But so you have the Namarti, which are the slave caste, basically. They
Call them the working class.
Sure, working
Not
class.
entirely slaves.
Sure.
The downtrodden.
Yeah. And so, basically they do the work of the nobility, which are separated into two different castes, which are supposedly equal but vie for power.
Depends on which enclave.
Yeah, it depends
you're
on the
in, but
enclave.
Well,
yes.
the cool thing to me is that this working class, they're slaves, that are treated so poorly is not because they were born with their soul broken. It's because they have, in the opinion of the rest of the Deepkin, inferior souls in
Yeah.
them. Because they're
As soon as they
souls
started,
from humans.
as soon as they
and
started
dwarves.
injecting them with human or orc or whatever souls,
It's not because your soul was messed up when you were born. It's because that's an inferior race of soul that you have.
what it takes for you to live is feeding off of these inferior races.
Yeah.
But yes, you've got the Akelians, which are sort of your warrior nobility.
Yeah, that's the warrior class.
And then you have your Isharon, which are your magician, your casters, basically, wizards. And those two different castes sort of vie for power, generally trying to be equal, but depending on the enclave, one or the other may be stronger in
I think
terms of the
specifically
rulership.
The Fuathan, or however you want to pronounce that, the ones that live in the...
You mean the Fugan with a T?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. Yeah. The Akshi, the Fire Realms.
Yep.
The Akelians are like, no, we are in charge.
Oh, yeah.
The warrior
guys
cast.
Those guys are warriors.
Yeah. We don't care about you.
They're just
Isharan at all.
bucket heads.
Yeah.
I do like, though, that they break down the Isharon where there's different, not just the Soul Squires and the Soul Render and the Wizard, but that there's the Corellians, the ones that can shape coral.
Yeah. The ones that...
into buildings.
Well, they shape coral, but they also oversee the
Oversee
Corellius,
right.
or the Corellium, which is when souls die, or when Akelians die,
right.
or when Akelians or Isharon die in battle or die regularly from old age, they harvest those souls and they store them in coral,
Right.
and they can actually draw on that power when need be to do different things, like the Eidolon, for instance.
Yeah,
is
which
actually
I don't like how they say this. Could come as anything. Could be the manifestation of anything that they wanted to. But the one thing that all the spirits want, or all the old souls want so much, is Mathlon to come back, that it always manifests as an Eidolon of Mathlon.
Yeah, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
Now, the thing I don't understand, if you're so starved for good souls, why aren't you pumping these old souls into the new Namarti that are born? You could at least keep them around.
Right.
Maybe that would be sacrilege to the soul.
Yeah, why would you do that?
Here's my theory. Because they don't want... I mean, they store the souls. If they put them in these Namarti, that soul's going to be devoured. I mean, it's going to feed upon that soul to stay alive.
But it's a full-on elf soul, so it should maybe keep it alive. Who knows?
Maybe.
They're not really doing it, so we have to wait on the next set of elves to come
Right.
out.
Yeah, see what happens.
Actually, they should just go kill witch elves and see what their souls.
See what they're saying.
That's what they should
right?
do.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
did
they tried, but
I missed that part.
that was in the original before the book came out, Fluff, where they tried to hit the what are they called? The Super Warrior cast.
Yeah.
Of the Daughters of Cain.
And the Daughters of Cain said, "Oh, you want to play?"
Yeah, they tried to raid them, figured out that was not a good idea, and then got chased all the way back into the ocean. Like, no, you're not getting away from us.
Gotcha.
So they haven't done that since.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I think one of the neatest pieces of fluff that I liked was when they started talking about how they started trying to tame the beasts of the ocean.
Oh yeah.
And,
Oh, yes.
And so they tried to break these like creatures that live below where the sunlight makes it into the depths. And Yeah, the beasts weren't having any of that.
No.
And so, like, they couldn't use normal means of breaking an animal and taming an animal. So what they did was basically there was a cast of Isharon that said, you know what? We're going to,
Use our mind magic.
well, we're going to use magic, but they also talked to an Octar that is basically an octopus that they managed to befriend and basically kind of used his advice and these deep mares that they were able to break a little bit easier, and a whole new cast or a whole new group of Isharon were created called the Embalers, and basically they break the mind,
Literally
through
break
magic,
the mind. Just destroy the mind
yeah,
of
and
the
bind
creature.
it to an Achelian so that they can use these beasts, and that's how they get like the Leviatons and the Alapexes and the deep mares and the Fengmora eels. I think.
Yeah, that was the part that really struck me because
dark.
Because you think, okay, elves. They're riding these fish, they're riding these sea turtles, all these eels and everything. It's like, it's the elves that bond with nature and all that kind. No,
Yeah, not so much.
Not so much. Just destroy the mind of the creature so it must obey.
No, I think the worst part though is that they blind them, and that is really what lets them just break
That's a part
them.
of it.
Yeah.
They just blind them and just put the helmets on them, and after that, it's just game over for whatever fish they're taking over.
It's just like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
the Embalers are pretty awful.
Yeah.
But that section on the Bond Beast was super cool because it talks about how, there's other races like Fire Slayers with their Magmadross or Stormcast with their Dracos, and they develop
they form a bond.
a bonded friendship
Yeah.
between them and the animal.
Nope.
No, not these guys.
Nope. Not at all.
It was a long and distasteful process, punctuated by violent outbreaks and great loss of life.
Yep.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Of course, I also like, this is kind of stepping back a little bit, but I like the fact it talked about that, there was debate, and some of them were not so hip hop on the, we can just steal souls and keep our kids alive.
Yeah.
But now it's like, this is just what we do.
Yeah.
It's their culture now. It's
Yeah, I
like,
think the best part and the worst part, though, is that they all know that they have to raid for souls. But now that they're being embroiled in this great war that's brewing, well, they're losing souls, but they're not raiding for souls, so they have to raid more for souls. So in the middle of like, all right, we're going over here, we're going to defend this land. We don't have enough souls for that. I'm going to take your human town over here, raid the human town, kill everybody in it, leave them sleeping, and then...
okay, now we'll go help you.
Yeah, and then go rejoin them to save the people that they just killed.
Like, wait, we're going to have to gas up real quick. On
Yeah,
your,
pretty
on your
much.
souls.
On the people you want us to save.
Yeah, they're like, the
pretty
more
much.
we fight, the more we raid, the more we raid, the more we need to raid. Again, it's like a never-ending cycle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's even worse than with the Daughters of Cain, where, they ally with them and then they see how brutal they are. And then after the battle, they're collecting all the blood and everything. And they're like, who have we aligned with? The Idoneth are even worse. It's like,
Yeah,
They're not as
Oh.
graphic,
Yeah.
but definitely worse.
yeah.
Yeah, in the grim darkness of the Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
It is Idoneth
Yeah,
Deepkin.
yeah. They are a scary race. I mean,
Yeah,
there's no doubt
it's
about it.
weird. And it really does point out that something that we kind of debate regularly is, what is Grand Alliance order? It's not Grand Alliance good.
It's not Grand Alliance good.
It's Grand Alliance. We don't like chaos.
Yeah, it's Grand Alliance. One or more of the Chaos Gods has really pissed off our people, and we are going to kill them before we kill you.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, I mean, this whole book is just dark. Like, there's nothing redeeming about the Deepkin whatsoever.
Yeah. They are really rapidly getting back, like you said, the grim, dark world
Right, yeah,
of Age of Sigmar.
No, it is not their fault. This is all Teclis's fault. Just
Well, it is. I mean, I'm sorry.
they're just surviving.
It was a bunch of hubris on
Yeah.
Teclis's
I mean, to be
fault.
fair, it's Tyrion's fault. Teclis was just going to kill him.
Oh, no.
Teclis did it, though.
But he realized his mistake, and he was going to be like, you know what? Nope, we're gonna wipe those out. We'll try again.
completely screwed up. And a large part of it was his pride and arrogance claiming the first souls out because he knew how to take care of things. He didn't know squat.
Well, let's be fair. None of them knew squat. They all
No.
screwed it up.
No, but
I just can't wait to see how Tyrion screwed his up.
I know, right?
yeah, right. Yeah.
When it's going to come out, though, Marathi had the best. They are 100% loyal to her. no matter what.
She did it the right way.
Yeah, she did it the right way.
Yeah, she twisted them so bad.
Yeah.
She did it the right way.
But no, I mean, you know,
Tila
it's,
agrees. She did it the right way.
I'm over here shaking my head.
It's great for radio.
you know,
I do a lot of hand movements. It's okay.
as
So do
much,
I. I was just pointing a minute ago.
as
No,
much
I needed my input.
as much as I don't like Teclis, no, I'm still going to put this on Tyrion's shoulder.
No. I totally blame Teclis. Heck, the old world being destroyed was Teclis's fault.
That is true.
I mean, he blew it. He just blew it.
Pretty sure Teclis is the reason that Mathline is dead too. So
Well, he is.
I mean,
Yeah.
the world that was would not have been destroyed had Teclis not been a blundering moron.
That's it. So, you know, I fictional character and all, but I got no respect for him.
yeah. I'm just gonna start at hashtag blame Teclis.
That's it.
Yep, there it is.
Yep.
No, but then I like how the other thing, and I think this is cool because they really had to do this, was give you a timeline starting at the Age of Myth, and they do this with this Underwater Empires section of the book.
Yep.
And it kind of goes through the Age of Myth, and it takes you through and gives you just some little timeline snippets of what actually happened to kind of create the Deepkin, and basically running analogous to what was happening with all the other races and everything at the time. So, you know, we're not just picking up, oh, look, they've come out of the water here right at the end of Age of Sigmar.
They've always been.
No,
they've been
been
there.
there.
They've been there since the Age of Myth, which I think is, you know, and that
Which makes sense because that's when they captured Slanesh. That's
Right.
when they started pulling
that's
the
when all that
souls
started
out.
happening. Yeah, it's just we as humans didn't know about it until right now.
This is our first exposure to them, but
Right.
they've been in the timeline
Yep.
all along.
Nice, super retcons.
Yes. Yeah. But it works. It's,
No, yeah,
it's just
well,
an
it's-
area of
yeah, it's
the
just well-
realms that,
yeah, and
has,
it's well
that has
done,
not
too.
been explored by
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when you take
yet.
in their whatever the tabletop rule is for it, but basically that they've been raiding these fishing villages for just
Thousands
ever.
of years.
Yeah.
But the only reason that we're just now learning about them is because they've become so frequent and fervent that they're beginning sloppy.
Yeah.
And leaving a couple of people alive here and there.
And the memory's intact.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing that
yeah.
they do.
And they're allying with people as they come
Yeah,
up.
so they're fighting along with them.
Yeah.
So, but of course, they've really have to ally at this point because, well, you know, stuff.
I can't remember my favorite little blurb from the Age of Myth is the Flotsam Isles Wars, where Volturnus of the Iron Rock, before he earns his kingship, he basically destroys a floating isle of greenskins.
Yeah.
I love seeing thematically a whole bunch of greenskins on a floating trash island that they have created, kind of like
Yeah.
a Space Hulk or something.
Well, yeah, it's like
Was that the ones that went out to like hunt the sea beasts?
The greenskins, I think it's just a blurb. I don't think it actually goes into
okay,
detail. I wish
maybe
it
not.
did. But just all those greenskins, after he destroys the whole island, they just sink down to the depths and die.
And die.
Yep. That's how he became High King. No, yeah, that one reminded me very much of like 40K Orc Battle Moons, except here it's we're just gonna build a big island of trash.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because that's what orcs would do.
Right.
And they would will it to work.
True.
Probably painted it red. Who knows?
But yeah, I mean, it's I really enjoyed the timeline. None of it is like, stand out like, oh, this is, super important. But just to be able to kind of line it up with what we know about other races really does help from a narrative. And then even if you wanted to go, it gives you that history, so you could actually go and play narrative games and do a narrative cycle through other parts of the Deepkin, which would be, kind of fun to do a narrative that's not currently happening in the timeline. Go back and do like what did they call those back in the day? Echoes of Battle.
Oh,
yeah, do like some Echoes of Battle. That might be 40K. I could be mixing that up. Time of War. Time of War is what they call it in AOS.
This is the one I was talking about, the Red Ties.
Red Tide, yeah.
Yeah, where Bone Splitter Orc fleet appearing amongst the Greenskins, vast raft flotillas, the Idoneth smash apart the crude ships, dooming tens of thousands of Oryx.
yeah, that one.
And of course, the Bone Splitters, they're out there because they're wanting to find these Leviathan and everything in the ocean and kill them.
Yeah.
and they just get destroyed.
I like how it gets mentioned so many times. Apparently, this is just a thing that greenskins do on the regular. Like, let's just make floating islands of crap
Yeah.
and then die.
No one's ever come back when they've gone out on the ocean. Let's go do it.
Yeah. I think one of the best parts about this book, and I know you like this part too, Wes, is the certain other army that keeps popping up, and it's not Slanesh. You would think it would be, but it's not.
It's not.
It's the Skaven.
Skaven.
Yeah.
They
The
don't ask
Naut-
me. I don't even know why
Gnaw tunnels, man.
they keep appearing,
So apparently, Gnaw tunnels don't flood,
but they do.
But they do.
but they do.
They do, but if you come up in the right place, they don't.
Yeah. Or if you stuff them full of a rat abomination
Yeah.
and
yep.
use it as a cork. Yeah, no, I really hope that all this Skaven foreshadowing is good.
I think they're coming.
I want to play them.
I think they're coming.
Yeah, I want you to play them too. So I need to upload the photo of that one that we were pointing at earlier on the radio, where it's just a soul render and he's standing on a body.
Yeah, he's just standing on a pile
Skaven.
of
Pile
dead
of
clan
dead
rats.
clan rats. Yeah.
Just-
Nothing better than a pile of dead clan rats.
All right.
Yeah, because let me tell
Foreshadowing.
you, if it takes 6 human or orc souls to nourish one of your little Namarti, it's going to take like a battalion of rats.
They probably won't even work.
Wouldn't that be the same thing as like taking a beast soul?
Hey,
it's,
no.
it's really not going to do anything.
They are rat men.
I'm a rat
The key word there is rat.
No, it's man. Thank you. Oh, man.
I just can't wait for the written fluff of the Skaven attempting to destroy the Deepkin, because I love the way that the Skaven are written.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's why I love Skaven before their narrative, because, but let's not talk about Skaven. We're talking about elves right now.
But they're a big part of
But
it.
Skaven are so fun.
Don't
They are the
get me
reason.
excited for rats.
They are the reason that
You should just start the Skaven army.
I mean, I already have.
Yeah. It's
I
going to
got
come
some
down
rats
the
in
pipe.
my house. You know,
That is not true.
see, better than saying I have some men in my house. Always go with rats.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Rats are better.
I think I would
That's
rather-
almost catch-22.
Yeah.
I can't get behind a rat army. I can't do it.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I have.
You don't want to be behind it because they're going to be running right back at
Yeah.
you when they flee.
Yeah, they
You'll be
will
in
turn
front
around
of
and
them.
run.
I have the pestilence, and she said that I can't play them.
No.
No.
because
He's not
they're
allowed.
rats.
I can't.
Pestilence
I
is
can't do
terrible.
it.
It's the one clan that I don't like.
Hey, I'll build you one of the spider armies.
No, thanks.
Yeah, man.
Not doing that at all.
Yeah. Grots on spiders?
No spiders in my
Ragnarok?
house. Thank you.
No Ragnarok for you?
Nope. Josh had that model. Nope.
A Ragnarok is an awesome model.
It is.
No, thank you.
It's pretty sweet.
And we are, as usual,
We are
totally
way off
off topic.
Well, I think, to be fair, I think we were talking back and forth as we were preparing for the podcast, and I was like, yeah, we can get all the lore in one show, and we're already over an hour, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. We are.
So do we-
and it's, of course, the reason that we were talking about it was because everything's new.
Everything.
Yeah, it is all new, yeah.
So, I mean, it's there's not a, well, such and such happened. We're not really going to cover that because
There's no as
that.
you know.
There's no as you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea if we don't pick up here next week.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could pick right up with the Enclaves, which is kind of where we're at.
That would be good.
And,
And then we can cover the enclaves, and if we have enough time, we can go ahead and cover the paint.
yeah, we can get Enclaves and paint for
Yeah,
sure.
should be able to do that, and then go into the rules
And then we'll
the week after.
crunch in a couple of weeks.
Yep,
Crunch.
that sounds good.
Crunching.
So, listeners, we didn't necessarily intend to stop here, but it's a good stopping point since we're hitting our hour mark, and we will pick up again next week. Should be able to do it
Tune
next
in
week.
next time.
I should be in town unless something unforeseen happens with regards to work. So, with that, I guess you guys have anything else?
No. I mean, I'm not going to, we'll weigh in on it when we're done with it, I suppose. But I mean, just at this point, if you don't, if you're not going to play the army, like it's a fun read.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially if you're into like somewhat, if you like Stormcast, you're probably not going to really like it so much because they're all shiny and good. But like if you
Says
like,
you, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt. If you have not been reading them Malign Portents,
that's Sigmar. That's not Storm. Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Stormcast, they're
Yeah.
terrible.
all right. If you think Idoneth are bad, read the Malign Portents and then come back and talk to me.
I have read it. They're still worse. This
No.
is worse than that.
No, I'm sorry.
These guys are pretty bad. These guys are pretty bad.
But if you like dark fantasy fiction, like it's just a good read.
Yeah,
It's just a really good read. The lore.
It is, and and here's the thing: if you have the app, the digital copy on the app is not that badly priced.
$20. 20,
yeah, $20. So, now if you just like to have a physical book, it's going to cost you a little bit more. But
Twice as much.
I paid a little bit more because I enjoy the pictures.
yeah, well, and
Picture books are my thing.
when I've got a book that's for an army that I actually run, I get the physical book because I like having a book. If I'm not running the army, I pick up the digital because it's less. It saves me some money and also saves me space on my shelf.
Yep.
So,
Same here.
so I guess with the I do want to hit one other thing actually a couple other things. Nagash is like pissed off at these guys.
Oh yeah. That's why I brought up the Skaven.
Obvious reasons.
Well, they're more soul stealers.
It's the Skaven's fault that they got found out.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, one of the enclaves decided to move into the realm of Shaiish and just make an enclave there.
Oh yeah, more fun. I think they're like
But they were hidden
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
until the Skaven tunneled up under there.
To be fair, the
ruined
Skaven
everything.
thought they were going for Nagash.
They drained an entire
to be
ocean.
fair,
Okay, I'm just saying.
they missed.
Why,
they
why,
had bad directions.
why would the Skaven go after Nagash?
Why did they do anything?
Because they're Skaven.
Because they're stupid.
Yes, they're rats.
So yeah,
They,
Nagash
they
knows.
say things like quick, burrow dig. Like, of course they're stupid.
I'm gonna need that sound clip.
To be fair, Snitter Scritch was that's a great name, by the way.
Snitter Scritch,
Snitter Scritch was trying to get to Nagashazar. He just missed really, really badly. Like really badly.
Yeah, but it would have been really bad for him if he had tumbled up into Nagash.
I mean, he wouldn't have gotten flooded.
Well, he wouldn't have gotten flooded,
very
but
true.
his flesh would have melted off of his bones.
I mean, perhaps. Or he
That's
might have
just-
he
that's
might have just
one rat.
gnawed on Nagash. You never know.
Yeah. And then when they met up with the Stormcast and tried to steal their souls,
Right.
and couldn't steal their souls, so they're like,
Right.
"Oh, we'll fight with these guys." Yeah, well,
Could
whatever.
you imagine what would have happened though if they had been able to steal their souls? I mean,
That might have nourished him for a while.
Yeah, probably so.
as broken as those souls are, come on now. How many times has that been reforged?
That's true, but they're like all Sigmar-rized.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
some of them are pretty messed
Brainwashed.
up.
That is true, yeah.
Some of them are pretty messed up. by
It still
this point
upsets
in
me
time.
that they can steal tree souls, because my people don't technically have souls.
But they do though.
I mean, not really.
Hey,
Those probably last them a long time. I mean, think how long a tree lives.
for true. Alariel whooped their butt and they left.
Yeah, they're like done. So yeah. So I guess with that we should, because we'll end up just keeping on talking.
Yeah, we'll
about
just
it.
keep
We'll be
rambling on
4
for
hours.
2 hours.
All right, so you can reach us, listeners, on Twitter at Age of the Hammer. Our email is ageofthehammer@gmail.com, and we are on Facebook. Just look for Age of the Hammer and you'll find us. I'm going to try to get a picture of Landry posted up there and a couple of pictures of some of the Daughters of Cain that Wes has been looking on. I'll pull them off of his Twitter feed. I'll steal his images and post them on the net.
They are free to steal.
And with that, you guys got anything else? Final wrap up for tonight?
That's all I got.
No, I'm just excited.
Dealer, you got anything else?
I got nothing.
All right. Well, with that, guys, we'll talk to you next week. And until then, keep rolling dice.
The SGWA would like to thank you for listening. We would also like to mention our theme music, the classic O Fortuna, as recorded by the MIT Concert Choir and used under common license. The Age of the Hammer is upon us.